Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. Today, we are going to be looking at another species of fat acceptance zombie. So, this person is somebody I would consider a stalker from The Last of Us. So, a stalker is a zombie that is kind of strategic or calculating. They plan out attacks. And as far as the TR is concerned, which on this channel, the toxic ritualistic is a coded term for you fall by the letter D, particularly in focusing on BINGE, although there is a spectrum within the TR, as we all know. But we focus more on that side of it. But within the TR, a stalker is more of it's a more mild form. It's the mid-sized princess version. It's the MSP level zombie. And it isn't bad enough where you haven't, like you still have like most of your physical function. You're not like a clicker where you just freak out over any little thing. You're still able to like be calculating and cunning. And there's a lot of hiding, as we know, within E fall by the letter D. So you're more able to try to hide what you're doing or to dress it up in something else. So this person, his name is Roy, and he is literally a fitness influencer? Question mark? I would consider him a zombie, though. So, and he is out in the wilds because I guess he's fat acceptance, but kind of not. It's kind of deceptive, which again, he's a stalker. So let's go ahead and break it down. I wanted to start this first by showing his TR. So let's look. So I'm not going to play the music, but this is his story. So he says, I lost 100 pounds. Then you see him, he's lifting or whatever. Then I gained some back. Then I lost several more. And then gained again. My body is constantly changing, but my value never does. Huge red flags there. That is totally BINGE. That is cycling bad. Like I said, I would consider him mid-sized princess level of severity, which on this channel we really break it up into two levels. We have mid-sized princess, then we have torture. So mid-sized princess is kind of like you're more competitive, you're whiny, you're complaining about everything all the time, that kind of vibe, but it's not that deep. It's kind of shallow. Tortured is like you have severe issues where it's like, oh my gosh, something really horrible happened to you, or you were really, really deep in it and you were like really, really huge. Okay. So he's more at that milder level. It's still totally there though. That is like blatant. And even like 100 pounds, that's kind of a lot. Like I said, I just think his attitude is still more so at the MSP level. He might have even been tortured and then kind of like downgraded to MSP, but that can happen too, where a lot of people feel like, well, I recovered. It's like I went from this tortured level of it to a less severe version of it. Well, that's not recovery. That's what we've been calling false recovery. So you're still in it, Roy. 100,000%. Let's just look at that again. I want you to see it again. So this is, if you ever see this in somebody, know that this level of cycling, it is scrambling their brain. It is absolutely scrambling their brain. Like, do not make any mistake about that. Look at that. 100 pounds down. Okay, cycled, went back down, cycled again. And then, yeah. Yeah. Just saying. Let's watch some more of his. Okay, so in this, there's a comment that says, I think I'd actually pay money to hear what you're saying in this video. Love you. So let's listen to it.
I honestly think that some of these people are terrified learning that people in all bodies can be functional and fit, and that thinness and abs are not the social standard anymore. I honestly think that...
So, what is the problem? I'm almost like, I'm concerned with him being on here. I'm like, do I need to censor this? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm fine. Maybe I'm being paranoid. The point is, when we're looking at this, what is so devious about a stalker? Or what is so devious about this type of zombie? This type of zombie can feign functionality, particularly for people who are much bigger. They can act as if they're healthy. They can perform health easier. So it's more insidious. It's also insidious to the general public because within the general public, it shifts the perception. So he's literally saying here that all bodies can whatever. Let's hear it one more time.
People are terrified learning that people in all bodies can be functional and fit, and that thinness and abs are not the social standard anymore. I honestly think that some of these people are terrified learning that...
Sorry, I'm trying to find a way to block it.
That people in all bodies can be functional and fit.
Okay. The point is, functional and fit in all bodies, no. If somebody is 400 pounds, no. It's over. You're not. So you're lying. That's a lie. Straight up. Straight up lie. Total lies. And I think that he, again, when we're looking at zombification, he's going to ignore any kind of evidence that is outside of this worldview of his. So he's still turning off a large part of his brain. He's also very competitive, so he's thinking of it in terms of status. So he's thinking people are so upset that abs and thinness are not the standard anymore, blah, 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 blah. So it's about appearance. So you have to look at that too. Usually within the TR, it always goes back to thinness. Or, well, actually, yeah, I didn't even mean to say that. I meant to say appearance, but actually, yes, it also always goes back to thinness, regardless of which one you're looking at. There's an obsession with that kind of thing. Whether it's like, I hate it, I love it, I want it, I don't want it, I this, I that, I'm obsessed with it. And what is thinness to the TR? Thinness in general is being of an average weight. It's being within a normal weight. So we've discussed on this channel that within thinness, there is still a spectrum. So you can be kind of thick, you can be skinny, you can be muscular, right? You can be skinny fat, you can be fit. Like there's a lot of different aspects of being thin, but within the TR, thinness has to do with average or normal. And when you're doing all these behaviors and you're doing all this stuff, you have to act like, well, having a normal weight, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I can still be healthy in this. So he's really caught in the performing health aspect too, which I think is easier for a stalker level zombie to do because he's not as big to where he's going to have these horrific issues like other levels. Or he's not so deep in the TR that he's just irrationally flipping out on anything all the time. Like if any little thing happens, he just pounces on it. He's not like that. He's calculated. So he's really focused on making this image. And that, like I said, it can be worse for the public because it makes, like, he's probably hiding a lot of health issues that he does have. And people don't like to believe this, but people in the TR lie. They lie about their health all the time. And if he's fluctuating that much, he's not healthy. So you have to look at it. And he's putting it all out there. And he's literally trying to act like that level of fluctuation is normal. It's not. It isn't. I'm going to tell you, like, in general, if it's above 10 lbs, it's probably not totally normal. I think within a year, 10 pounds is kind of normal. Like, it could be seasonal, but again, maybe it goes up at certain times, then it goes down, or like if you're in your cycle or this or that, or obviously if you're pregnant or something, then that's, we get it. There can be some differences there if there's a reason. But if it goes beyond that, if you're getting to like 20 lbs and beyond, it's like, no, honey, there's something going on. Like, you shouldn't be fluctuating that much. That's giving TR. Okay? So let's look at some more. Okay, so this one says, there's a comment that says, can we stop affirming this fucking nonsense? It's okay to like who you are. It's another thing to promote being fat. You should be trying to promote people to better themselves, not affirm their delusions. I think it's a totally reasonable comment. Let's see what he wrote in response. Was I promoting obesity, or was I simply teaching people in larger bodies how to live a more functional and full life? You were promoting obesity. That's what you do. You try to say that you can be obese and still be healthy. That is promoting obesity, because that is not true. So that is factually false. So if you are lying in the favor of obesity, then you are promoting it. Period. Which, remember, within the TR, there is a lot of lies. And they are also self-deceptions too. So he may be lying to himself. You have to keep that in mind. Again, this is a zombie. This is a more functional zombie though, okay? This isn't a clicker. This one is a more sophisticated zombie. Okay? Now I got one more to look at. Okay, now this one says, promoting obesity isn't body positivity. Remember that. Then he writes, younger me would be so proud of the fact that I'm eating and not in the hospital anymore. So again, I think that he was probably a clicker that recovered to the point of being a stalker, which is basically saying he is still a zombie. He's just a more functional zombie. Now, when I use this metaphor of The Last of Us, we need to understand that unlike The Last of Us, there is a cure. You can leave the toxic ritualistic. You can leave E, fall by letter D. You can make a full recovery. However, you can also make a half recovery that isn't even all the way at all, which is where he's at. Or you can have false recovery, which I think is where he's at. So he's thinking, oh, I'm not doing this aspect of it, so then I'm okay. And it's like, no, you're not. Because you're delusional. You're totally delusional about obesity. You're totally delusional thinking that it's totally fine. It's not totally fine. And you're having to block out a lot of information, block out a lot of feedback. You're having to tell all these lies. You're having to actually like create this PR campaign around performing health, which, by the way, is not working. He is very hated, very, very hated by a lot of people on Instagram, which it does show the zombification is definitely there, because he's not very charming. He's just not. I'm not showing some of his more weird stuff, but I probably should, just so I can paint a better picture. Let me show you one of his weird things. Hold on. Okay, so here's, like, he does a lot of this, and then he also does a lot of, like, political stuff and this kind of stuff. So it's not Rizzy. I'm just telling you, it's not. I also think it's funny, too, because the stalkers in The Last of Us, they moan and stuff, and they sometimes sound kind of risque, I guess I'll just say. But he writes here, someone offered me $400 for my sweaty clothes. I'll just say that. I don't know if YouTube cares, but I'm just trying to be cute on here. And I've never had more motivation to work out. So if you see, it's kind of like this, I'm bragging, but I'm also, you know what I mean? It's very Mid-Sized Princess, to be honest. Like, I do think he did that partial recovery from like a tortured person to a mid-sized princess, but it's like you're still messed up. You're not there. You didn't fully recover because it's a lot of this kind of stuff. He's very, very, very hyper competitive. You see like this comment right here, it says, no, they didn't. You know, he has a lot of haters and he's just not very well liked. So it's like he does this whole PR campaign and he does all this stuff, but from what it looks like, the business is struggling because he does like all these retreats and stuff, and it seems like he's trying, like he always does that thing of like, there's only one more spot. Like, let me try to show you. Let's show you some of the calculatedness of the stalker. So you can see here, I need this to reach the bears. We have one more spot to my 8-day Philly trip going for $500 total, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So it's a lot of this kind of stuff. It's very calculated. It's like gimmicky, marketing-ish. Like, it's a lot. And it's not charming. It doesn't work. Like, people are not really liking it at all. But I guess there's some, you know, some in the TR love it. You know, he's like, I offer a sense of community. I offer this kind of stuff. So he offers a TR environment, basically, which is, you know, I guess all the zombies can get together, and he tends to have people that are a lot bigger than him and stuff, which I'm sure is by design, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm just being bitchy, but anyways. So this is just an introduction. I just wanted to show that there's some, yeah, there's some sophistication to this zombie. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on this level of zombie. Again, it's not as bad as a clicker. Clickers are fun. Like, I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of those in the next era because they're just so obviously unhinged, but this is still pretty bad, honestly. Like, it doesn't, I think that he thinks the act is working, but I think it does work. I think maybe people within the TR look up to him or something, but the general population doesn't really, I don't think a lot of people like him. I just don't. Like, I'm just going to say it. So, yeah, that's why I wouldn't consider him a bloater, because he's not famous. So I don't think he's really spreading anything, which I'll have to show you guys who I think is a bloater and that kind of thing. I'm just trying to, like, formulate my theorems. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. I'm sure, you know, some of you guys will have something to say. I'm sure I'll be trying to cover him more in the future if there's anything of interest. But yeah, I think it's always good to have more men on here. I do want to cover some TR men for my members this week. Like, I'm going to start doing that in general. It's harder to cover them though because they're just super blatant. So it's hard to do it on YouTube because they just say it for what it is. You know, they don't use coded language. But I'm trying to show, like, especially straight men or masculine men that have the issue too, because I just want to show you guys what it looks like within them too, so we can see, you know, so that it's just interesting. Some of you guys are saying it's interesting and stuff like that. So I'm going to probably have to do that for members just because they really are blatant, which makes sense. You know, they just kind of say it. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I got to keep it quick as usual. No, I'm just working a lot right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys later. Bye.